Hi guys, welcome back to We Should Talk, a pop culture interview series from In the Know. I'm your host, Gibson Johns, and this week on the podcast we have Lala Kent from Vanderpump Rules, also the founder of Give Them Lala Beauty and its various offshoots. The most recent season of Vanderpump Rules just wrapped, so it was really fun to get to talk to Lala about all things this season. And I think it was an up and down season. There were some moments that was really good. There were some moments where it was a little bit boring, but it ended with this amazing two-part reunion. So if you haven't been watching, definitely watch that reunion because I think it proves that there's still some story in this show, and if they take it in the right direction, if it goes forward, then I think that Vanderpump Rules could still stick around for a while. So I loved getting to talk to Lala about this season, about the reunion, about some of those side comments that Brock made about her that I personally had a big problem with, and she had some good perspective on that. So we spend the first half of this interview talking about Vanderpump Rules and a little bit about the whole Randall situation, and then we kind of pivoted into her various business endeavors, her podcast, Give Them Lala Beauty, its various offshoots, Give Them Lala Skin, Give Them Lala Baby. There's a lot that she has going on, and she's going on tour for her podcast later this year. She has her book that's coming out on paperback. She just, I think it's really impressive how hardworking she is and how many different kind of things she has going for herself. So it was a great interview. She was in great form, and I really enjoyed talking to Lala. So keep listening for my interview with Lala Kent, and please rate, review, and subscribe to We Should Talk on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, guys, so we are here with Lala Kent, founder of Give Them Lala, star of Vanderpump Rules. Lala, you have so much going on. How are you?
I feel great. I'm in a great headspace. I actually feel amazing. Thank you for asking.
Good. And we were just talking, you have this amazing sign behind you that I'm just going to be looking at the entire interview, your gorgeous neon sign, which I wish I had. So I feel like that's just like a good vibe to set for yourself. Give Them Lala.
It is cute. It's chic. It's the mantra. You got it covered.
So first, how's Ocean doing? I feel like she's at that age where there's probably so many little milestones and moments that you're loving. How's she doing?
She's doing amazing, and her personality is just strong and independent. And I got very lucky with her. She's the easiest baby, and she's so much fun.
What's like the latest milestone or moment that you can share with us that you kind of were screaming over or that you were documenting?
Well, right. So she's learned to shake her head no, which my little brother taught her. But the cutest thing that actually just happened this morning. So, true to form, I have a wall full of my face, right? And Ocean loves it. It's like all of these paintings. Naturally, I would have that. And it's when you come down the stairs and, her face lights up and I say, "That's Mama." And this morning I asked her, "Where's Mama?" And she pointed out the door, like on that wall, obviously.
I love it. That's amazing.
So the pointing is new. And that was like, oh my gosh, she's learning how to point things out. That was a milestone.
And that's like some memory too. She knows where it is. Like, that's good. I feel like that's she's a smart cookie.
She's a baby genius.
There we go. Sign her up for Mensa right now. I love it. So, okay, the season of Vanderpump Rules just wrapped, and I mean, I know that there were differing opinions about the season, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought, there was some hot and cold moments, but you guys ended with a bang with that reunion. How do you feel about how the season went?
I didn't watch much of it after everything kind of happened in my life. It was a little bit triggering. I have watched it now. And, we had a great loss with this season. It was a huge transition. And with that, I think it was an amazing season. And the reunion was fantastic. I compartmentalize. It's like, yes, this is my real life, but I also look at it from a viewer standpoint. And I think we did the damn thing.
I totally agree. And like, again, you guys were up against kind of a lot with losing cast members and COVID and all of that. So I think you guys brought it. And I'm curious for that reunion though, is it hard for you to be remote and everyone else be in person and like fully connect, or was it okay for you? And I'm curious what that was like specifically.
Yeah, I wish that I could have been there because it does make it easier. However, I'm actually glad that I was remote because a lot of the little side comments I wasn't able to hear. So I I felt like I was very poised and I thought I did great, and I attribute that to not hearing the side comments because I don't think I would have taken those so lightly had
Mm.
I been in the room.
Lala, I was particularly like pretty disgusted about like when you had that moment where you were getting emotional and you were talking about everything that's gone on in your life and bringing Ocean into this relationship that didn't end up working out. And then for Brock to just say, "Cool story, bro." Like I was like, I was honestly speechless when I saw that, and I'm assuming that's one of the comments you're referring to. But like, what was your reaction to seeing that on the reunion? Because I just like was sort of just flabbergasted by that.
I thought it was very telling about his character. I was actually mortified for him, and the Give Them Lala squad handled him like champs. Once that came out, like bring the dogs out. Like I didn't even need to say anything. But I thought it was gross, and he has apologized for how he reacted to me, which I'm always appreciative of. And I have let it go because, if anyone knows about reacting off of hurt, it's definitely me. And
Right.
if someone says they're sorry to me, like I can definitely let it go. But if you take me back to the place when I had just seen it, there were a few comments that he made that not only was I grossed out by, but I'm like, you're gonna get
Yeah.
wrecked by the audience.
Like
Like,
you didn't even need to say anything. It was just like people are gonna react to that. Right.
oh my gosh. I was like, I don't need to say anything because these viewers are going to bring in a wrecking ball on your ass. Sorry, am
Hmm.
I allowed to say ass on
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. You're
Okay.
good. Yeah. No, and they did. And they did.
Yeah.
I think if even if you just clicked on the Pump Rules hashtag on Twitter, it was mostly about his comments. And so I think that kind of tells you everything you need to know. But, I guess from your perspective, where does that leave you in Sheena? Because I think that reunion was kind of rough from that perspective with Brock. So where does that leave you guys?
Sheena's one of my dearest friends, and this season actually brought us closer. I
Oh,
think we
good.
really, yeah, when you have such a deep-rooted issue with someone where it has to do with, kids and things that are being said, you can take one of two roads. And that's either you're going to come out stronger or you just have to leave the friendship behind. And neither of us were willing to leave it behind. So she did say the day of the reunion, we spoke that morning, and she said, I'm really nervous because we're in such a great place and I'm worried how this is going to go. And I said, you know me, I know the drill, and I don't think there's anything that we can't come back from.
Hmm.
I know what we signed up for. I know
Yeah,
the
of
drill.
course.
And my feelings are this isn't the last time someone's going to say something to me that I'm going to be upset about. But as long as we can always come back to the roots of our friendship and say our sorries and acknowledge things, like I'll shake it off. I'm good.
Totally. And I think that's kind of a unique thing to the group you guys have on Vanderpump Rules, which is like there are a lot of couples in the realm of the show and like kind of with cast members and people that are on or off, whatever. And I think that like you guys do a fairly good job of keeping the friendships of like individuals kind of or maintaining those despite what somebody might say about their partner or any sort of spat that they get into. I feel like you guys do a pretty good job of like eventually seeing beyond that, even if immediately there is sort of some drama from it. Like I feel like eventually you're like, okay, no, me and Sheen are bigger than whatever this is. You know what I mean?
Yes, definitely. I feel really lucky to have the friend group that I have because we're very resilient.
Very, yeah. And speaking of, I mean, one, I loved when you and James were on Watch What Happens Live together. I think you guys are always so fun when you're on when you're on there together. I know that like you guys just let it fly, and I think it's really refreshing, honestly. How is he doing right now? Because I know that was kind of he had some tough moments to watch that as a viewer on that reunion. But how's he doing now?
He seems to be in great spirits. We'll go to the gym and work out together. It used to be we'd go to a bar and kick it. Now we're just at the gym at 9 a.m. it, so that's definitely changed. But he seems to really be in a great headspace, and he's got his eye on this prize and all of his accomplishments. So it's just a friendship you can't break. It's like
Right.
our bond is so thick, and I'm sorry, there's nothing better than like season 4 Lala and James.
Oh my God. I mean, you've been through it, and it's honestly similarly to you and Sheena. It's like you're gonna come out the other side, and I think kind of always still be there for one another, regardless of what goes down. So that's kind of heartening to see. And I think honestly, and I know that it's like drama and I know that it's intense, but I love you and Ariana as adversaries. Like, I think that you guys are such a good match, and I think you guys create really good TV together. And I think like it's honestly like you started off the season with a blow up, you ended the season with a blow up. Only right that happened. Why is it after all these years still so electric with you guys?
Maybe it's sexual tension.
I mean,
can't think of anything else.
Hey, I'm here for it. Yeah.
Same. As much as we try to get on the same page, it's just there's always something that's amiss. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe you just got to let me hit it again.
Lol. Hey.
Sorry, I forget we're on Yahoo.
No, I just think that you guys are good for the show. I think as a duo, like I think there are moments where you have genuine fun together, but you got to have some of that drama, and it's not super deep. I would say I feel like it's still just kind of like you just pop off at each other, and
we do. And Ariana's great at popping off, so she's a good match for me, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
That is a fun one. So like when you think about, I mean, you really loved this season, clearly, of Vanderpump Rules. I know there were some triggering moments for you, but what do you think about the future of the show? How do you sort of think about how it can move forward? Because I think there's definitely a faction of people that think that like, it's sort of, it needs sort of to figure out what the future looks like, whether that's bringing on new people or whatever. What do you think that looks like? And do you still have fun doing this?
Every time we wrap a season, I'm like, I'm never going back to that. I'm done. And then I get a phone call that says, we're coming back. And I'm like, when do we start? Let's get it popping. It's almost like I just need to like hibernate for a sec. So I love doing it, and I would be back in a heartbeat. And as far as the future of the show goes, I'm not quite sure what direction they'll take. I think the show does well because it's organic. And even when I entered on season 4, it made sense. So whoever is making those decisions about what the future of the show is, it has to be handled delicately. But I don't think that this show is over.
I don't think so either.
No, I mean, just when you think that there's no other story to be told, we've told it all, something happens, and it's like, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, the reunion is example A of that. It's like there was so much there that it's like, okay, let's unpack a lot of this stuff and keep going with it, because that was compelling TV,
It was. And I was wishing that there would have been more episodes, because so much happened this season where I don't feel like the story was over. And suddenly it was over. We only had that amount of episodes, but there was so much more to tell and so much more to duke out. So I'm hopeful that if we get another season, that we can revisit a lot of things, because now that we've watched it back, I'm like, I may have a whole new set of issues now.
Got it. You have a list. You're making a list and checking it twice.
All the lists.
So your book, Give Them Lala, which, I think one thing about you, Lala, is like nobody can ever accuse you of not being an open book, of being honest. And I just reread the description of Give Them Lala, the book, and it says that the phrase "Give Them Lala" is about giving the truest, most honest version of yourself to the world. It means being authentic, bold, adventurous, and having an unapologetic approach to life. And to me, like, there is no lie in there about any, like, that is seemingly your approach to life. And I think you have obviously been really open and honest about the changes that have happened in your life, the breakup, and how hard it's been for you. And I don't want to get into the particulars of it because I think that you do a really good job of doing that on your own terms, on your podcast and things like that. Like, and I know it's tough, but I guess my big question for you is like, was there ever a moment when this happened that you didn't want to be that open book in this scenario with your fans? Was there ever a moment where you're like, I don't know if I can if I want to share all this? Because clearly you have decided to share a lot of it, which I think is really commendable. But was there ever a moment where you kind of second guessed that?
It's so interesting when people talk to me about that I've shared a lot, because I've given such a tiny little bit of information compared to what I could be sharing.
Sure.
So no, I mean, the only reason I'm not more open is because I know that I have a daughter who, I don't want anyone to control that narrative. I know how this works. When I go out and I talk, I know that people choose whatever's most interesting to put in a headline. And I don't want them to control the story and the truth. So it's not that I felt like I didn't want to be honest, because again, like, I'm just an open book by nature. So I have to like consciously stop myself from saying certain things, not because I don't want to be honest, but because, I'm 31 with a baby and I just have to maneuver in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, again, I think I respect that a lot, because I think you're having the foresight to think about, okay, what does this look like 5 or 10 years in the future when Ocean is old enough to Google and see, and I think that's great. I think that's great that you have that mindset.
Thank you.
Yeah. And last thing, I think this is again, I don't want to do negative. I want to do the positive of it. You did say on your podcast you were going to go on a group date. Has that happened yet?
Yes, it
How did
happened.
it go?
I'm blushing. Ah! It went very well. I mean, he's amazing and sweet and fine as it gets. And we'll see, I'm having fun, but
you're kind of beaming.
I'm beaming because I'm going to be honest. He is like fine and I need a fine man.
I love that for you.
Yeah, I love that for me too. So just like being with someone in like the neck that's like thick and tattooed and like jawline, it was just all the feels that night. The date went great. To put it simply.
I'm thrilled for you.
Thank you.
So switching gears, on the season, we also heard a good amount about the success of Give Them Lala Beauty, and we saw a launch party that you had, and I would just love for you to, just that in and of itself and some of the attendees of that party like speaks a lot to, again, the success that you've had. But what's like something you can tell me about the success of Give Them Lala Beauty that like speaks to that success? Like, because I feel like do you guys sell out a product? I feel like you guys do really good like drops and things like that people get really interested in. But I would love for just to hear from you about like some of the biggest kind of success points that you've had so far with this brand.
Yeah, Give Them Lala Beauty was something that I started with literally 6 glosses, and it was just, let's try it out. This could be fun. And people really took a liking to it. I'm inspired by people who are trying new trends. I check my DMs to see like what products do people want to see. And that's what makes our launching so fun, because we do one every single month. And I grew up going to grocery stores to get my makeup. I then transferred over to Sephora and upped my game. And I just felt like there was no in between. How could I get a quality product where they also respect how hard I work for $1?
Right.
So I attribute the success to Give Them Lala Beauty because it is an authentic brand. I'm not going to try and sell you something that I don't actually use. If I don't put it on my face, then I'm not going to tell you that I do. And we have a lot of fun with the naming process. We sell out of products overnight, which is awesome. And it's like a dream come true.
Wow.
And I listen to people that are buying, like, what do they want to see? And if I'm getting a lot of people saying, can you please bring that back? Then we're bringing it back, obviously.
Totally. What's been kind of a big learning curve for you, or a big moment of learning that you've had since starting the brand? Like has there been a big hurdle that you've gotten over and you kind of look back and think about kind of that as another kind of moment of success for yourself?
Yeah, I think, well, when I started Give Them Lala Skin and I started it, this was like the biggest, like, I guess, business learning experience for me. I mean, I'm well aware that I'm not Kylie Jenner yet.
Hey, coming for the crown.
I will be flying around in a marbled Give Them Lala beauty jet very soon. But I started Give Them Lala Skin and I started them separately. And, we just weren't getting the push that we needed from the skin. So my biggest thing was to combine those two, the beauty and the skin, put them under one roof. And just like that, people are like obsessed with the skin and purchasing. So that was my, like not giving people too many places to have to search and shop.
Consolidate. Yeah, it's the Give Them Lala umbrella for beauty and for skin. And then you also have Give Them Lala Baby. You have Give Them Lala Baby, which I didn't know you had that. So I think that's another obviously really natural thing for you in this moment to go into. How's that been going?
I am obsessed with the Baby brand because, number one, I mean, it's amazing. The fabrics are awesome, but I started it with my childhood friends. So her mom and my mom.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, her mom and my mom have been best friends since junior high. And, she is 4 kids deep. I find out I'm pregnant. I said, let's do something together. And she was like, why don't we create a baby line? And it's run out of a garage, a very chic garage, by the way. You can eat off the floor in Salt Lake City, Utah. And it's run like strictly by her family and mine. Like my little brother's in there packaging all these products.
No way.
I have a special place in my heart for the baby line.
I want to see that next season. I love that. That's so amazing.
Oh, if we get another season, I'm taking that crew back to Salt Lake City, Utah, and we're going to show what we do to get this baby stuff out to our customers.
Good. That's what I want to see. Have you gotten any business advice, branding advice from other people in this space that kind of, that have done this, the beauty brands, the skincare brands? Have you gotten any advice on how to sort of, I don't know, take it to the next level or what not to do? Or I'm sure you've gotten some points.
Yeah, I have a really solid team behind me, and nothing that is worth having is going to happen overnight. I'm so grateful. Like if you would have said, this is what your brand will look like a year from now, you would have told me that last year. I would have been like, if that's what it looks like, I'm done. I'm good. Like, that sounds awesome. And then you reach that milestone and you're like, I want more.
Next.
So
right.
Right. So no matter what, you're always wanting more. But the team I have behind me, they're brilliant. I have my way of doing things. And sometimes it takes a minute for them to make me see the light, because in my mind, I'm like, I'm the brilliant one here. And they're like, well, we've been doing this for, 30 years, longer than you've been alive, some of them. And so, yeah, I'm very, very proud of the team that I have working with me.
Does Lala, the boss of Give Them Lala Beauty, ever pop off in the business setting?
Oh, yes, she does.
Okay, good to know.
I warn people about her. I've even had to warn, my friends who I'm in the baby line with, because they saw Lala and not Lauren for the first time the other day. And I don't think anyone liked that very much.
Well, she'll come out when she needs to, Right.
I'm very easygoing. She only comes out when I feel like the job isn't done. Yes.
And then, again, the next thing is like your podcast is also a smashing success. And I understand you're going on tour later this year, which I think obviously speaks to how big your listenership is and everyone who kind of comes back for every new episode. Have you ever gone on tour before?
No, I've never gone on tour. I'm really excited though. We had this tour planned and then COVID hit and it kind of, made it so that we couldn't do it. And now we have a brand new format for the show. And, I am nervous though. Of course, naturally, because it's like, it's not like a tour for Beyonce where I'm just going to sing amazing songs and have an incredible voice. It's like, oh, I'm going to show up and like entertain people
Right. You could
without
do it.
my ensemble cast.
No,
I was
you could
gonna
do
go
it, Lala. You could. I understand why you're nervous. Is anything live like that is nerve wracking. I can go every which way, but I feel like you got this. You can command the room.
I think I've got this too. And there's something that's very special about my people, like people who have supported me, who will be coming out to the show. I'm going to feel like I'm hanging out with my friends, and that I'm most excited for.
Mm-hmm. What do your fans, or the Give Them Lala squad, as you refer to them, what do they say to you when they come up to you when you're out and about? Like, what do they quote certain things? Do they say that you have had XYZ impact on them? What do they tell you?
They love the clapping of your man made out with my friend. And they also love, are you trying to get popped?
Iconic.
And most people that come up to me talk about confidence and strength that they've seen in me. And for me, I'm very transparent. Like I really faked it until I made it, because there are many times that I don't feel confident, that I don't feel strong, but I try to have my mindset switch up a bit to make me feel like I am confident and strong. And all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I feel like the baddest bitch on this planet. Like nothing can break me. So it's a lot of people coming up to me, talking to me about that. And I love that because that bonds us. Like I'm just like anybody else. I have my moments of weakness. I'm not going to show you guys those moments unless I'm getting paid.
Well, more of your fans will have opportunities to tell you these things on tour. There's VIP packages where they can do meet and greets. Like that's, and I think that your super fans will show up for you. And I think that there's obviously no better time for them to be doing that than right now. And I think that must feel really good to have that built-in support system that's going to follow you literally around the country.
No, it's coming at the perfect time. And I'm excited to do the meet and greets. I'm excited for all of the segments. I think that people that come are actually going to be blown away because nothing is off limits. Like we have amazing segments.
And kind of, again, thinking towards the future, we've talked about whatever the future of Pump Rules is, but what's the future of the Give Them Lala universe? Is there going to be like Give Them Lala home or Give Them Lala pet? Like what are you thinking? Like, what does it look like in 2, 3, 5 years?
There are no limits to the Give Them Lala brand. Like I never intended for it to be a brand. It was just like some silly tagline in my vain 24-year-old mind back in the day. And now that I've seen that people have taken a liking to it, I will never stop. And I do have my goals. And I want to continue to fill the Give Them Lala umbrella with nonstop stuff.
Love it.
Pet, home. I want you to just have Give Them Lala all over your life.
Your entire house is just Give Them Lala.
Correct.
I'm obsessed. Well, Lala, this was so much fun. Is there anything else that you want to plug before we go? Like I know that the paperback version of your book is coming out later this year. What else can you tell us about before we sign off?
Go get the paperback book. I mean, I'm so excited. I actually prefer paperback over hardcover. So that for me, when they were like, the paperback's coming, I'm like, this is awesome. Yes. I mean, the little national bestseller stamp on it is a bonus, but like the paperback is where it's at. So yes, that comes out in April.
Awesome. Well, Lala Kent, this was so much fun. And I'm just gonna go about life giving them all Lala. That's my vibe.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thanks so much. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to We Should Talk. I hope you enjoyed the interview. You can find out more about In The Know at intheknow.com. You can follow me, Gibson Johns, at Gibsonoma on Twitter and Instagram. And you can listen to all of our interviews, past and future, by searching We Should Talk wherever you get your podcasts. Hope to see you next time.